Hey guys, I know I'm not there again today, and I know it's been a few days since I have been there, and unfortunately, I have some things going on family wise so that I can't be there with you. And so I thought to help you during today's class, I would make this video to explain what the next step of the science fair is. And that next step, you guys should have at this point, if you have not turned in your research, that's the very first thing you need to do today. You need to work on your research um, and get that submitted as soon as possible. If you are done with that research, I'm going to take some time in this video to explain to you the very next part, which if you look here, right before we go on a little break for Thanksgiving, we have September, or not September, November 25th. On November 25th, and actually we are away on November 25th. We won't be in school on November 25th. That is the day after Thanksgiving. So you don't have a full 2 weeks you have a full 2 weeks to do this, but remember, you won't be in school every day of those 2 weeks. Okay, so I'm going to go through this to show you how to work on this. I'm going to give you all day today and possibly maybe even another day to work on this. So any information that you could possibly want for the hypothesis and experimental design can be found right in here in the folder labeled hypothesis and experimental design. The information for it is going to be right here, the instructions. So when you click on these instructions, it takes you to this page, which shows you all of the directions. Okay, it talks about now that you've completed your research, it's time to finally go ahead and sit down with your group and start to come up with some ideas about how you want to do your controlled science experiment using the scientific method. Okay, so essentially what you're doing in this section is you are going to be coming up with the question, the hypothesis, the independent variable, the dependent variable, giving me some constants, listing all the materials that you'll use, and then as well as coming up with a procedure. Okay, so let's back up a little bit here. When we're talking about this hypothesis and experimental design, this is the first stage of the science fair that you guys are going to do as a group. Okay, so we're no longer doing this as individuals. This is a group assignment. Okay, you will put this on your science fair outline. I'll show you that here in a second. But this is a group effort here. You know about it being late. If you're late, you're going to miss those DP points. And this one of the big parts of this one is the hypothesis, and you know that you have to use an if-then statement. Okay, if-then, and I have plenty of examples listed here for you to see. If you still need to see more, please just contact me, and we'll figure out a way to get you some more of those. Okay, if you need those directions, one more time, they're in here. Blended School Science Fair. Go down to Science Fair Hypothesis and Experimental Design and take a look at the instructions. Okay, now where will all this go on your outline? Now, hopefully at this point, you guys have all shared this with me. I have not had time to sit down and ensure that everybody has shared it with me. I think I'll get a better idea of that when I start to look through some of your research. And as I go through some of your research on Shobi, I should be able to see that you have shared this document with me. So everybody should have shared this document with me. And when you've done that, you should have all of this stuff complete already. All your research should be done. If it's not, that's what you're working on today because it's due by 4 o'clock today. When we get down here to the experimental design, this is where you have to start filling in some of these blanks. So right now they're blue. When you are ready, you and your group are going to take the blue and you're going to highlight it and delete it. And then you're going to put in your actual question. So maybe your question is, what is the type of fertilizer that will enable plants to grow the most, or the highest? That's the question that you're investigating. Okay, so you'll take the blue, you're going to delete it. Now I'm going to leave it as it was. Gotta back up. I'm going to leave it as it was so that my template remains intact. Okay, and then you're going to have a hypothesis. Make your prediction about what's going to happen with the experiment. If your hypothesis, or if you're doing the plant one like I just explained, maybe your hypothesis is Vigoro fertilizer, or maybe it's Scott's fertilizer. It doesn't really matter. If we use Scott's, then the plants will grow the highest. Okay, you got to use that if-then statement there for your hypothesis. Then you need to go through and you need to come up with the independent variable, the dependent variable. Again, erasing the blue and putting in your own answer. Some of the controlled variables or the constants, things that are going to remain the same throughout the entire experiment. Then you also have to create a list of materials that you are going to use for your whole experiment. So if you're building rockets, you have to include here everything that you're going to use to build those rockets. If you are baking something, you need to include all of the ingredients in every recipe that you use. So this could be an extensive list. You can certainly bullet it as it is right here. Make bullets and just include everything, but make sure that everything is on that list so that I know everything that you used in your experiment. And then finally, the last part of this is the procedure. And this is the part that we always seem to mess up a little bit. Remember, this is the steps, exactly how you're going to conduct your experiment. First, we're going to do this. Then we're going to do this. Then we're going to do this. It is not the steps of the scientific method. So I shouldn't see question or purpose, research, hypothesis, conducting the experiment. I shouldn't see that. I should see what are you actually doing to conduct the experiment. Okay? Once you have the materials, variables, hypothesis, question, procedure, you are good to go for this next step of the science fair. So you have a couple of weeks to do that, almost 2 full weeks to do that, but I'm going to give you a jump today. Again, if you don't have your research done, that needs done. But then when you are done, you can meet with your group and start to talk about things like your question, your hypothesis, some of the variables, and fine-tuning the procedure. It needs to be detailed, guys. Don't leave things out. Don't make it short. It should be an extensive procedure. Okay, again, guys, I'm really sorry I haven't been there. It's been really crazy the past couple of days, so hopefully I'll be back on Monday. I really hope to be back on Monday, and we'll be doing a lab on Monday so that we can get out of this work, get out of this kind of iPad work and get hands-on again. So if you guys have any questions, I should have my computer, should be able to respond to some emails, so please go ahead and email me with your questions, okay? See you guys later.